Hi, this is Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation Podcast. This podcast isn't some magic trick about how to work less. Instead, it's about how to really enjoy the work that you do and to enjoy your vacation time. Hi, it's Sean, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation. And you're also listening to this dual-part series on bonuses. In the first part, we looked at the psychology of bonuses and how we can create those bonuses by bundling something, by adding something, but more effectively by unbundling something, which is you look at everything that you do and you just give away free as part of the package, and now you unbundle it, you make it separate, you spotlight it, and that becomes a bonus. And usually one bonus is enough. You don't have to have half a dozen bonuses. You have to have just one bonus. That kind of transitions us to this third part, which is how to create bonuses from thin air. And you do that with special access. So what is special access? Let's say you walk into a restaurant, there's music playing, people having their dinner, all of that stuff is happening. And there in the corner, there are some free tables. But you can't have those tables. They are reserved. That is what you call special access. And you say, well, that happens everywhere. Yes, it does. But usually there's nothing special about those tables. They look and they feel exactly like the other tables in the restaurant, but they have been marked out. There is special access. And if the restaurant chooses to have a section which you can't access unless you're a member or you have some kind of privilege, well, that is an elevated version of special access. And really what we're looking at is taking the ordinary and then marking a little boundary around it. And that's precisely what people want. They want what they can't have, which is the special access. Let's take an example. Let's start out with a furniture store which sells physical product. What would you give away if you had a furniture store, for instance? When people get into retail outlets, they're not always sure what to buy. They need advice. And most of this advice is given haphazardly by some bored salesperson. However, let's assume that the customer is told that they can make an appointment and they can get expert advice from the owner or an expert on furniture. Now the whole perception changes. And instead of running into that boring and very bored salesperson, the customer is getting preferential service. And you have created an additional bonus. You've taken something that you probably do anyway at some point in time of the day, and now you've fenced it off. You've made it special. You could go so far as to brand it and call it expert advice worth $200. Book your appointment. There's no catch. There's no compulsion to buy. And an expert will guide you on what's the best purchase for your needs. This system can be used if you're selling electronic equipment, wine, computers, sofas, furniture, or camels for that matter. Everyone loves special advice. And now what you've done is you've elevated yourself to the expert level simply by marking out a specific time. They're going to come into your store anyway. You're going to get that advice anyway. You're going to spend that time anyway. And it's not going to be valued anyway. So you may as well have a specific time or a specific section where you're going to get that advice. And now it has value. Now it's a bonus. Now it's something that is desired by somebody else because it's special. And the reality is easy to throw up your hands in the air and go, oh, the sofas cost a lot, the computers cost a lot, I'm just selling a small product. As we talked about that restaurant, you could have a certain section that was just for members or just for a group. Or you could have something on a special day or a special time. But you could also create that bonus by having a secret menu or a specific type of coffee that no one else has access to. These are very tiny little things that make people feel special. And the best part of it is that you're conjuring this out of thin air. Nothing is changing. All you're doing is putting a ring around it. All you're doing is fencing it off and saying this is special. And it becomes special. When you go to this website, Golden Moon Tea, they've been selling tea like pretty much hundreds or thousands of websites on the internet. But then they created a Insider Tea Club. And when you joined that club, you had access to teas that the rest of the people didn't have access to. Now, could they have just put all those teas on the website? Of course. But would it make it special? No. So there you go. It's the bonus that makes a difference. It is that special, I am part of this separate group, separate section. I have special privileges that makes that bonus so powerful. No matter what you do, whether you train, you run a service-based business or product-based business, you can use the concept of special access to whip up bonuses from thin air. Now, just because they're from thin air doesn't mean that they aren't of extreme value. Most customers know that the cost is minimal, but they appreciate the special access and they value it highly. And yes, this special access works both online and offline. You can take a client on a special tour. You can give them special access to sections of your website. You can give them access to information and details that other customers simply don't get to see or to experience. For instance, when you do one of our courses, you know that there are just about 25 seats, sometimes even as few as 16 seats. So they're a lot in demand. Who gets special access? People who join 5000 BC as members. They get first preference, and that is a bonus. They know when they're signing up for 5000 BC as a member that they are going to get access. And some people, like my friend Doug Casement, joined 5000 BC because after 2 years of trying to get on the cartooning course, he couldn't get in through the normal method. And so he joined 5000 BC and then finally did the cartooning course. What I'm saying here is that your business already has the capacity to have something special, a secret menu, a special date, a special webinar, if you're online, if you're offline, special sections, special whatever. There is always something that you can bring in that only some people get and that you advertise that only those people are going to get it, and it becomes a bonus. And so when you're selling something, you have to make sure that everybody knows that it is special, that it is the bonus. And then it becomes special. You've put a spotlight on it and you're given special access. And I know I've said special 1,000,000 times already, so I'll stop saying special. But it is special. It is very special, this method, because you're not doing anything fabulous or interesting or having to create anything or unbundle anything. You're just putting a spotlight on it and making it, you know the word, right? Okay. That's it. Let's summarize what we've covered in these 2 podcasts. And there were 3 of them. The first one was bundling. You have to find something extra. So maybe you're selling an exercise cycle and then you give them some kind of odometer or speedometer so they can see how fast they're going. And that becomes something that you add on. That's a bundle. And that's the most amount of work. And that is something that we have done for the longest time. And it's frustrating because you have to think of that towards the end. Now, if you want to improve your chances, I would start out with the bonus. I would start out with thinking, what can I do in advance? What can I give in advance? Start out with the bonus before thinking about the product, because the bonus is more crucial than the product itself. And the reason why this is the case is because when someone goes to buy a fridge, they've already decided that they're going to buy a fridge. They've done their research. They've done all that stuff. And then when you give them, oh, I'm going to give you a box of chocolates with a fridge, they can't focus on the fridge anymore because they know they're going to buy the fridge anyway. They start focusing on the box of chocolates. So that bundling stuff works really well. The bonus works really well. But you have to think about it from the start. That takes us to the second one, which is unbundling. Maybe you were giving a box of chocolates all the time with your fridges, but it just came as, oh, there's a box of chocolates with the fridge. Now you unbundle it You take the box of chocolates, make it separate, and now you've got an unbundle. You're a copywriter. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. How about making it 1, 2, 3, 4? And the fifth thing, that is your bonus. You sat down, you deconstructed what you did. You thought, wait, I'm giving too much away. And people not even using all of this stuff. I'm going to unbundle it and put a spotlight on it. And now you have a bonus, and the bonus has to have a value. Just a bonus is pointless. You know that. So put in that value. And yes, take a paragraph on your sales page or your sales letter or your newsletter or whatever it is you're sending out. It needs to have that spotlight, and you're isolating it by giving it a full paragraph, because that tells me this is different, this is unusual, this is why it's such a good bonus. It's got a price and it's got a description. Not one line, not a ship in the night, but a description. And finally, the third way is to just conjure up stuff from thin air. For instance, on any of our courses, you have access to a special WhatsApp group. No one else has access to it. And you think, well, there are all these Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups. No, not on our courses. You find that people having these conversations, and I'm in the thick of those conversations all day long, which means that if you're stuck, you can access me. But there is another version of it, and that is you can message me and I will respond to that message. Or if you want to go back to the last century and call me, well, you can call me as well, and I will take the phone call. Most of the stuff is done through the web, not through phone calls. But this is what it kind of underlines, that I would do that anyway, and now it's special. Now it's different. We've cordoned off that area as you would with a restaurant or a special menu or an unusual flavor of ice cream or some coffee that comes from some place that no one's heard of before. Whatever it is that you do, you're already doing this. And in effect, you're creating these bonuses from thin air. So what's the one thing that you can do today? Well, do whatever is the easiest. And the easiest is definitely conjuring up bonuses from thin air. You already have a special type of coffee, a special section of your restaurant, a special webinar, a special way for people to sign up to courses. Whatever it is, you already have that. You know that you have that. So now give it prominence, give it that paragraph, put a price there, and then coordinate off. And automatically you'll see that people will want precisely that and will go to extra lengths to get it. And that's what makes the bonus so powerful. The bonus is more important than the product itself. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy that a box of chocolates is more important than a fridge. But as human beings, we want that special treatment. And that's what the bonus is all about. So use the third one, conjure up something from thin air. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. And we're just barely days away from the launch of the article writing home study course. No, we're not. That's in October. That's on 13th of October. We're still in September, remember? For September, we have the uniqueness course, and you can go to psychotactics.com/ugoodies. So psychotactics.com/ugoodies, and that'll set you for the uniqueness course. You can get the goodies and see what makes your product or service unique just by going through the goodies. The article writing home study, which is in October, on the 13th of October, that you have to go to psychotactics.com/AW, and that stands for article writing. So psychotactics.com/AW goodies, and your writing suddenly expands. It becomes dramatic. It becomes powerful. Like that carrot story that we started. Now you know what carrots are for, don't you? That was just a good story that has lasted for almost 100 years. and will probably go down the line for years to come, maybe decades to come. Who knows? Well, that brings us to the end of this podcast. And yeah, 5000 BC. That's where you get special access. So join 5000 BC, and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.